Oh, it was? Will Rich?
Yeah, wasn't he? No, that was her dad.
Yeah.
Rich was her dad.
And they had that scales there right along the spur. And they'd fill them boxcars, or not boxcars, they were like a coal car.
Oh, really? Just dump it right in
And
there?
they just dumped them in there after he weighed them. And he had to take care of the weights for each one of the farmers. Well, we topped all those guys' beats down in Richville and down that way. Swirls, they used to do the hauling. Well, he took the job of putting the beats up for him, and he paid us for topping them.
That was hard work.
Was it? Did beets grow kind of like radishes?
Mm-hmm.
Pull them up and chop the stems off?
They had a plow thing that was about like that far apart, and they went right through them with the row, and they'd lift them up. And we had them beat knives with, they had a big hook on them. We did go along and hit them in the top of that and bring them up, and you had to top them off and throw them in a pile.
What did they do? Did you have to haul all the stems and the leaves out too, or did you kind of spread them out? And
They just left them in.
plow them in?
Well, cattle used to eat them.
Did they?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Was that when you were in high school, or even after that?
afterwards.
Was it?
Even after we were married, Wayne taught me in Gail Hall. See, Gail lived here later. Kathleen and Gail weren't married for 4 years after we were. So, we lived together.
They lived here after they were married?
No,
Or,
we were married, but Gail lived here for 4 years. And then him and Kathleen got married.
oh, I see.
After we'd been married for 4 years.
Was it just you guys then and Grandma?
You know, she wouldn't have any, but she had to build this place. Didn't have water, didn't have fences. Wayne's dad had been so sick. Now he drives because he can't do all that. And I said, what do you think your dad let Phil when he couldn't do that? You gotta take the place when you get older. But it's hard.
When did you stop raising beef cows? That wasn't very long ago, was it?
No,
About 3 or 4 years ago.
not 4 years.
Huh. I remember when I was about 12, that summer that my mom and dad went on a trip, and I stayed with Grandma and Grandpa. I think your truck was broke down, so Grandpa came and hauled some of your cows. You know, we went with you and took them down to the auction.
Steers, huh?
Yeah. And you guys couldn't get the last one to get in the truck. It took about 2 hours to get that cow in your truck.
Little kids would remember that.
Oh
huh?
yeah, I was sitting right up on the fence next to it, and I thought, man, they're being mean to that thing. And Grandpa finally, he got a big fence post, those metal ones, just jabbed it in the butt, and that thing just about jumped over the truck.
It got in there, didn't it?
But you guys were swearing and hollering, so mad. That was funny.
One time they hauled him down, and Gail hauled him, and the back of his truck wasn't too high.
Well, it was, except where it opened the door,
Tell him what happened.
back of it.
About the steer.
Well, we went down to the yards, and these 4 Black Angus come in, and so I watched them for maybe 10 or 30 seconds, and I wasn't getting too high, so I bid on them and I got them. We loaded them in Gail's truck, and we got out on that busy highway coming
Up
You
through
know, down-
Riverdale.
Yeah, down right by Riverdale.
and all at once the truck went like that, you know. And I said, I don't know what that was. And they said, oh, probably hit a place in the road here. And Then pretty quick, the guy drove up along the side of the truck trying to get Gail to stop. He said, I wonder what the hell that guy wants. So he rolled his window down and he said, if you had more than one steer in there, he said, you're minus one.
And it jumped right out over the door?
back.
Huh.
See, the sides used to be about that much higher than,
I remember he had that metal rail around the top, but didn't go over the door, right?
and of course it never went across there. But after that one, he hauled one way. He had a two before he put it across there.
I remember that too before being on there. I thought, I wonder what he's got that on for.
Yeah.
But that steer died.
Did
We
it?
brought it home, but it died.
Oh.
No,
The traffic, I don't see how one did the other.
well, Luann seen it.
Yeah.
Luann Rich. They were just getting off work down there, and she come along, and
She seen the steer, but she didn't know it belonged to Wayne.
Oh, really?
but we got him cornered against the fence over on.
So he was still running around?
Mhm.
Really?
And we got him against the fence, and two highway patrolmen come, and there was two state road guys come along in the truck. So they all got out and come down there to help us put him back in the truck.
Huh.
And he had to lift him up.
Oh, yeah, because you didn't have a chute.
So they all got in there, and I told this one highway patrolman, I said, you can get your clothes all called the city and that, and he said, don't worry about it. He says, they wash them. But the other guy, he never even put his finger to hell.
He didn't want
Really?
that on him.
Nope.
Those smelly cows. Do you think it probably died from internal injuries then? Or?
Yeah, it had to be inside, But just to look at him from the outside, you couldn't.
He looked fine.
He looked good. But he got so he laid around out there in that little shed, and I carried him water and didn't feed, but he just got so he couldn't get up.
Oh, no.
So that was a profit.
Yeah.
But as long as it stays out there, it's not cold. Right.
Grandpa must have had a retirement then from Hillfield when he went to teach.
He had what?
A retirement income.
Oh,
You
no.
know,
He had a good retirement.
I imagine he'd have a good one, because he was right up under the top-notch official for
Commander?
the government.
But he got a good one for being a teacher, too.
Did he?
They got,
Yeah.
you know, as good as anybody did. They had a good income from being a teacher.
But Grandpa was a civilian, wasn't he? He was probably the top
Yeah.
civilian.
Yeah.
Well, he was the top civilian
Was he?
that was working there at the time.
Hmm. You know, when I was on my mission in Wisconsin, a couple missionary came out and taught there, and he actually asked me one day, he said, do you know Gail Mortenson? I said, yeah. He said, I used to look for him.
Gail was very smart. And he used it to good advantage.
I imagine he got stressed because he probably wanted things right.
Yeah,
He
you know,
was worried about everything.
It
Yeah.
was. He had everything to worry about.
Well, he had yeah,
I'm trying to think now.
what they rode with,
Oh, they had a carpool.
a carpool. Well, he told this Big Cheese for the government that he had to take them guys home. They was waiting for him. He said that the officer just turned around and says, from now on you drive your own car.
Huh.
So that you can see how much stress it was. They just
It
everything
was.
had to be their way or nothing.
Gail had a lot of stress with that job, and it was a good job, but it got to him.
It seemed like Grandma told me one time that he had one commander that he really liked and got along with, and the rest of them were pretty difficult.
Yeah. You had a good one.
He was a good teacher too. You know, kids liked him. He was pretty strict with them, but I think they liked it. You know, Gail told them the way it was, and that's the way it was. You didn't go this way or that way.
He probably wasn't necessarily mean. He just was structured.
No, he disciplined them, but in a good way, because they really liked his teacher, all the kids.
This one kid down there used to bowl with us, and he was going to school there at Morgan, and it was Gail's teacher. Gail was his teacher, and he kept disturbing the class. Gail told him, he says, "You keep this up," and he said, "I'm going to take you down to your dad." His dad worked for Brownings. So he kept it up. So he just took him, put him in the little buggy down to Mountain Green. He went, took him in, told his dad, he said when he gets so he'll mind his own business and quit disturbing the class, he can come back, and not until. And that made a good kid out of him.
Was it very long before he came back, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, his dad brought him right back, I think, the next day. He never done that again, I don't think. I think Gail wasn't mean with him, he just made him know that he was the boss.
Yeah.
Well, you every once in a while you get one that he wants to run the whole class.
Yeah.
And you can't have that in the classroom.
Well, you know, Gail had a mind of his own. And he done it his way sometimes. And yet, you know, he was never mean or anything, but what he did, what he thought was okay, you know. You were supposed to think the same way.
Grandpa's class probably wasn't the one to mess around in with all the teachers.
Yeah, I'm sure. As big as he was, too, the kids wouldn't mess with him. I'm sure. He was a big guy. Yeah.
That same summer, me and my youngest brother Chad, you know, we both stayed there that summer. And I kept tormenting Chad, you know, and driving Grandma and Grandpa crazy. Grandpa was constantly yelling at me. Chad was playing with a stapler, and he stapled his thumbnail.
Oh my God.
And he was in the house screaming. And I was clear out in the garden, and Grandpa was in the backyard and, you know, planting the flowers or something, and Grandpa stood up and he said, "You leave that damn kid alone." And I was clear on the other side of the pasture, and I said, "I'm not even in there. What the hell's the matter with him?" So then he got Chad out there, and Chad wouldn't settle down. "You hold still so I can get this damn thing out of here." That was pretty funny.
Yeah, they used to drink tea when I was first married. Everybody drank tea. And I poured Gail a cup of tea, and I just told him, he said, "For heaven's sake, I want a full cup of tea." That's the way he was. Didn't mind telling you. What a guy. We loved Gail that way. You know, we went so many places together and done things like most kids after they get married don't really still stay in a clique and do things together, but we always did. Always went places together and done things. And Ethne done a lot with her sisters, like Alberta. And I think it's nice to stay in families and do things. Our kids do a lot together. They go on trips together, you know, and now Jennifer Denise's daughter's we're gonna go on the Beaver Creek the day after Thanksgiving. He's not going, but I am. And she called everybody that wanted to go, and she said, I'll get the tickets, and then you can just pay me. So,
That's funny.
it's fun. Fun to do things together.
I have problems and I'm not gonna take the chance.
Do you still have your Christmas parties together, like you used to up here, your whole family?
You know, the last couple of years, like with Aunt Sherry and Uncle Larry, we haven't really had them.
Haven't you?
It seemed like we had one or two after Grandma died, and then it just never came together. That's a shame.
Well, that's kind of why our kids wanted to start this Mortenson thing. Your grandmother wanted to have a Mortenson reunion for so long, and Barry was going to do it, but he just never. Now he's too busy. He had too much to do, and so you know, Susan, she's quite a person to get things together, and so they just decided we were going to have it. That's all of us do it, and I think it's been fun.
I think it's been really fun.
Oh, I've
I
got to
really
read
enjoy
the
it.
picture. Holly took a picture, but it was a little one.
And then this Tammy, she took it down where she works, down to the photo place and blowed it up.
This was just a little photograph, and Wendy enlarged it for me. She
Oh,
has
wow,
a
that's
computer
neat.
she can do it on.
I'm done.
Tammy, wasn't it?
No, Tammy didn't do it. Wendy did.
Oh,
Wendy does it for me all the time.
oh, well,
She's got a
I said the wrong thing.
what? Yeah, it wasn't Tammy. It was Wendy. I don't even know if Tammy's got a computer. Yeah, I think she has.
Well, I thought maybe she took it down where she worked.
Oh no.
I think this is the first year that Larry and Sherry have come.
Yeah.
Or
No, Sherry came.
She come
Sherry
before.
came last year, the year
Hmm.
before. Yeah, she did. She's had a kind of a rough time too, hasn't she?
Yeah. Did they tell you Uncle Larry's getting married this
Oh,
month
that
sometime? Did you?
I'll show you. You got one, didn't you?
No. My mom and dad probably have, but
Yeah. It's good, and I'm glad, and I hope that this woman's going to be the one he needs. He's had a bad choice of friends.
of spouses, haven't
Yeah. They're getting married in the temple.
My mom was saying
Mm-hmm.
she saw an obituary of a guy that was about 60 that just died, and he was on his fourth marriage, and that fourth marriage lasted 32 years.
Yeah.
And so she told Uncle Larry, she said, well, maybe this is it.
I hope so. I hope it's going to. And your mother said, Jimmy, I think Larry looked on the inside instead of the outside this time.
Yep.
I did not believe Jane would do that. Can you remember did you come to Etheling's 70th birthday when we had it up to Maddox?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, what did Jane get up and say? I remember clearly. She got up and she said, this is going to be Larry's last marriage. It's going to be for good. But it's her fault.
Yeah.
She found somebody else. And you know who it was? This Cheryl Compton married this Neil Gross, and he was the principal at the school where Jane worked. And that's who she left Larry for.
Oh, really? So that guy's wife was from up here? Is that what you-
Yeah, well, he lived here.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, he lived right here in Morgan. He married a Compton girl.
Hmm.
And she's a cute girl. Really cute. A really thin, she said. Sweet-looking girl. I don't know what he was thinking of, or her either. Jane either, you know? That doesn't sound very kosher or whatever you call it to me, in a school like that, for them two to...
Oh, yeah. I think he ended up getting fired.
Did he? Well, I would think so.
You hope.
Yeah, Jane said, got up. Can't you remember? And said, this is going to be Larry's last marriage, I can guarantee you.
Well, I appreciate it a whole bunch.
Well, Larry's had a bad time, and I'll tell you, Denise was just little when Larry used to come and stay with us, or was born, about the time. She loves Larry. She thinks he's just pure it. And when he's had so much hard time, she's felt so bad. She lives right here in the corner, Denise does.
Oh, does she?
Yeah.
Is she your youngest?
No, Jill's the youngest.
Oh.
Jill's the youngest. Here they are. Jill was there. You know, Jill's husband just walked out on her. That's Jill right there.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's Jill. And her, 3 years ago, or 3 years ago, he come home one day and he said, I don't love you anymore, you better find somebody that does. Walked out.
No kidding. Where were they living?
In Jennifer, right back her mother and his mother and dad.
Really?
Their backyards come together. And Jill said, I can't move out of Jennifer, I just can't, this is more than I can take right now. So, the payments were too high for her to meet on the house. And so they went and remortgaged it so she can have the house. And in 12 years she has to pay in $36,000 on the house.
Really?
I said, Jill, where are you going to get it? She said, I don't know. I said, I wish we had it to give you.
Oh.
So,
So she stayed over there?
no, we didn't stay in Hannaford. We went to Salt
Well,
Lake to
she
live.
she did though.
Oh, yeah,
She
she's
stayed
still
in the
living
house.
in that house.
Yeah.
She had 2 boys. And the one boy was married with a little girl when they got divorced, I think, or had it right after. And Ashley's still living with her.
Hmm.
He's just turned 22. He just turned 22. But he's still living with her. I think he's going to college and at night working, you know, trying to go through school. So
Hmm.
I don't know what to do without Ashley.
Works out in Park City.
Yeah, he works up in Park City.
Hmm.
But, and then Christopher and his wife lived in Salt Lake. And they really didn't like it down there. Well, Christopher did. He got his car broke into and stole first thing he moved down there with. When they were first married, they broke in and stole all his stereos and all the equipment out of it.
Huh.
And so Susan Curtis, his wife, wanted to move to Salt Lake. So they moved down there, and Ashley said, well, they'll be moving back the first time somebody breaks in his truck. And I'll be darned if they didn't break in there and steal all his.
No kidding.
They were like that, too. He was so disgusted. So now they moved to Hannaford. And Christopher and Heather moved to Hannaford. So.
Hmm. So I don't blame them. My stuff got stolen in the truck many times down there.
Isn't it ridiculous? And the murders that go on down there, Brian, and it's awful. It's just terrible. Every day they kill somebody.
Yeah.
Life's nothing to people anymore. I don't know. We never used to lock our doors when we went to bed at night, but we do now.
Hmm.
In the summer, this is one stream of traffic going up these canyons.
I bet it is.
Yeah, it's awful. It is. So anyway,
Did you guys think you'd ever have 9 daughters?
no, I wasn't going to have a dozen kids. I'm pretty close to it, didn't I?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I wouldn't trade one of them.
Hmm.
They're all so good to us. Denise works at the bank. And Cleo works at Ace Hardware now.
Hmm.
She used to work at Como, Cleo. And Jill works there, Northrop Grumman, is it called?
Hmm.
Down here by Hillfield. She worked for that place up in Park City. It's called Rolls Royce.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and the guy that,
Oh, yeah. Don't they have an engine plant or something
yeah,
up there?
they do helicopter parts.
Hmm.
Todd and Guy both worked there. And she was working there, and the guy that was her boss went down to this Northrop Grumman place to work. It's right below Hillfield. And that his secretary was quitting, so he said, I know somebody can take your place. So we called Jill and told her to come put in an application.
Hmm.
And they hired her. And Susan works in the courthouse at Colville. And Brenda's the superintendent on the Utah side of the port entry.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And Pat worked at the bowling alley for years, but she's retired. And he works at the bank and works at a school 3 days a week in their library. And Carol worked at the school, and Judy worked at Browning. Well, Judy's been married 3
I think,
times.
isn't Ann the one that lives in Sandy?
Yeah,
She worked at our school for a long time.
yeah, yeah. She worked at,
At Mid Valley.
And
What?
Carol.
She worked at Mid Valley for a long time.
yeah, and then now she works at Sierra something, what's the name of it?
Silver Mesa?
Silver Mesa.
That
She
was-
works at Silver Mesa. She works in their library. So they all about work. But Judy quit working. She retired. You know, when Malin died, he worked for Hillfield, and guess what they did? They took the money all in one, you know, like, they didn't see that she got some of it when he died. And he was sick when he retired. So she didn't get a cent from him.
Really?
He died 3 years after he retired. And he worked in Hillfield for 30 years, and she never got a dime out of it. Not a dime.
Does she still
worked-
live here?
Yeah, she's the one that lived there, but she's married. She lives just down the road now.
Oh.
Malin died, and Leon's wife died within 2 weeks of each other. And then in about 3 years they got married. She lives in a brand new home over there. Jed lives there, Cleo's son.
Oh, really?
Judy won't sell it. She said it's her kids, so she won't sell it. But anyway, all the kids work and they do good. Brenda worked for the Port of Entry for a long time, and she put in for the superintendent's job for a time. Then she went back to college and done some college, you know, and she put in for it again. And she said, if I don't get it this time, I'm quitting. She called me and said, I got it, Mother.
I'll be darned.
But you know what? We'd be up there, and even the guy that was taking care of it would call her and ask her what to do. What do we do about this guy now? He's come in here with this or that or the other. Well, she'd tell him what to do. She deserved to have it. Yeah, she did.
Does she have an office up there on the freeway, or is it in
Yeah,
Mortenson?
no, she's in that little Florida Entry on the Utah side.
Yeah, there's
Is
a,
it up by Willard or the one up by Evanston?
Oh, no, it's right up by Evanston.
Oh.
They build a new one on the Utah side, and build it down a little lower, and that one for Wyoming's on the other side. But she's on the downside. They built a brand new one there. It's down a little bit lower than the other one was. Yeah, she's got a pretty good job. Anyway, they're all good kids. I don't know what we'd do without them now. We need their help. And Denise said, don't go walking out on that sidewalk, Mother. She had to go to the bank and work this morning. Once in a while, she has to work Saturday morning. And she's worked there since she graduated from school.
Oh, really?
She had a scholarship to go up to Logan. Well, she went for about a month, and she cried. It was the year our barn burnt down. She cried every time she went back, and Pat said, don't make her go back. Wayne says, I'm not making her go back.
I told her, I said, you don't have to go up there if you don't want to.
And so
It's
she
up to you.
She went back to the bank, and they said, you've got a job here anytime you want. And you know how Denise got that job? There was the Decky Club, and Gail was over it, and he got her the job, and she's been there ever since.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And they told
How did your barn burn down? What caused it?
Well, poor little kids.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They found some matches out the road.
Them book matches, and they was more than half gone.
Oh, really?
But
Was it your grandkids or neighbor kids?
Yeah, our grandkids.
I used to take them up in the field with me, and instead of, we used to burn the ditches with that,
Weed burner.
it blows. And
It blows
they have a
the
tank.
flames.
The
Yeah.
propane tank or something?
Yeah, you hire it, and it's on wheels. And you take it, and they charge you for the amount of gas you burn when you take it back. But it was the only way you could keep the ditches. If by digging them, you never keep it up. So we used to burn them. Well, and I'd take them up in the field with me, and of course if it'd get out of the ditch bank a little bit, they'd twomp it down, and
They weren't very old.
they found them, and they started the fire out there, but it wasn't inside the barn.
Oh, really?
It was out in this
But
pasture,
it was August, and it was just
And
dry.
it was dry and hot.
Just dry.
and and then the wind come up, just rolled it across the
Well, you know,
trail.
they had it stomped down.
Oh, when they left?
And no, they were out there still playing.
Oh, they were?
And all their bikes were out there, and Cleo had Matt. And Matt was in an incubator because he was born with no opening in his rectum.
Hmm.
and they had to open him up here, you know. But he was in an incubator for, at least a month or 6 weeks, because he was born a little premature. And so she'd come to put up my hair, and she had the kids with her. And they was out there playing. And then the store was open, and this Jake's kid came to our door, and he said, "Your barn's on fire." You know, and I looked out there, and you know how the bomb would go off? Just right then, it had gone under the hay, and the whole roof went just like that. It just exploded.
No kidding.
Oh, no.
Well, some pieces went up the road there, and it must be 3/4 of a mile.
No kidding.
And some pieces hit clear up there.
Well, the only
Wow.
thing that saved Judy's house, Gail stood with the hose and watered her house down, so those embers wouldn't fly on her house. She's got a tin roof on it now. like we
There
had, but,
was about 100 people come to help out
Oh,
with
yeah.
the fire. And
Wayne was working. He was down Monty's working.
Hmm.
And some woman stopped him, some woman we know, told him his barn was on fire. She couldn't wait for him to get home. And Judy had just stopped to that old grocery store where the Ace Hardware was that burnt down, you know. And then she had a whole load of groceries, and somebody said, "That house next to Mortenson's is on fire." She grabbed her purse and left all her groceries, and she came up here, and they had a hose across from the creek, you know. And that guy said, "You can't cross there." And she said, "I'm crossing there. That's my dad's barn that's on fire."
Hmm.
So, they tried every way they could to put it out. But you know what? It's in the daylight.
It got up in Ronnie's barn up there.
Yeah, burned a hole in the old church house that was there.
Hmm.
And we had a brand new organ. They'd gone around gathering money for a brand new organ. So some of the guys went and packed that organ out of there. It burned a hole about that big, top of the church house. Those embers just moved everywhere. So,
Was that about 1972?
72, yeah, 72.
I was thinking, that was the year I was born. I was thinking
Yeah,
that's
it
when
was
it was.
72. Yeah, it was.
It was considered in the one of the top 10 fires.
Well, Wayne
That
had bought a
year.
lot of hay.
Really?
He milked cows, and he had a big load that hadn't been
Had
unloaded.
120 bales on that wagon.
Huh.
And some of the kids run clear from Kippen's, Leslie Adams did, and pushed the tractor away from us.
Oh, really?
And the kids got their bikes out, but, we was worried that those kids were in it. And when we found them, we were dang happy.
Oh, I'll bet.
They'd have got in there for him.
Shane doesn't want to talk about it now.
Really?
No, he was about 6 or 7 years old.
Scared him right to death, I bet.
Yeah, and the other ones were even younger kids, so it was a catastrophe. Wayne and I thought we'd lost everything. And we did lose a lot, because we didn't have any insurance. Now they won't even insure out farms hardly, because
Just because of that.
No, Willie, what are you doing?
Well, then,
Because I'm gonna smell you and see if I know you. He's Judy's dog.
Hmm.
They've gone down to the volleyball tournaments in Orem. You know, we got a really good volleyball team in Morgan.
Oh, really?
They've been to California and everywhere, and they never get beat.
Huh.
Doesn't matter who this Liz Wisdom takes on, she just gets those kids. I don't know what she does with them, but they are good.
she motivates them somehow.
I know she does.
That's amazing people can do that.
Yeah, she just motivates them somehow, and they've never lost very many games. When they went into this tournament, they were, 4-0 or something, down in Orem. What's the matter, Willie? Huh?
Well, are you guys going to try and go to Salt Lake today?
Yeah, we won't drive. Carol will. Yeah. And her daughter, her husband, about a year or so ago, he walked down on her. Hasn't even been back to these kids for a year.
Huh.
I would have never been
Well.
with Randy. He was so good with those kids.
Yeah, but he had to go and pay his
Where
share
she takes them to be babysat.
on the babysitter.
I guess he pays half of it or something. What do you mean?
And he walked, they were playing on the sidewalk. How old is that little girl?
Tristan, she'll be 5. She'll be 5. It's her birthday, we're going.
Walked right by her, never even spoke to her, and said, Mama, my dad didn't even speak to me.
Can you believe that?
Wow.
And you know, he used to be so good with those kids. But you know what?
What do you matter? Do you
I
want to
think
go
he
out?
got into drugs. I think he
Yeah.
got in with some of the guys that he was working with, and a younger woman, and that's who he left Sherry for.
Huh.
And Sherry's always been a big breadwinner anyway. She's always had a good job, and it's a good thing. But they built that house maybe about 4 or 5 years ago, and it was a nice home.
I think he's ready for,
What?
I
Yeah,
think,
he wants to go out, I guess, I'll let him out. But anyway, she couldn't keep up the payments, and there was no way they'd lower the mortgage on that. With one paying, you know,
Yeah.
with wherever they had the mortgage, they wouldn't do it, so. Now she lives in it's like a court, it's not a trailer court, but they're double wide homes built there, and there's 300 and some on that place.
Wow.
But it's,
Hmm.
and she lowered her payments by half. In fact, she wouldn't pay as much rent as she's paying on that house, so.
Really?
Want to go out?
Well, thanks for letting me come to see you. I
Oh.
appreciate it.
You be careful going home. Have you come clear from Walden today?
Yeah.
You had to leave early.
That wasn't bad. It only took me an hour and 5
Really?
minutes or something. to
Now you
come.
got one little boy,
2.
2. Jackson's one.
And Aiden is the other one.
Oh, Aiden?
Yeah.
Yeah, Aiden. Oh, what is Heather and Darren that's gonna have the twins?
Yeah.
Oh, do they know what they are?
They know one's a boy and the other one they couldn't tell.
No, couldn't they?
Yeah. And they're other little boys too.
Willie.
Yeah, and what's his name?
Ben.
Oh, yeah,
Benjamin.
Ben. Uh-huh. They're cute kids. Your kids are cute too. I knew you had 2 boys too.
They're in for a ride with those twins. That's going to be something else.
I'll say.
Brett's wife ran into him at the hospital just after